Hello, everyone. Welcome to Black and Creative. My name is Khary Simon, and this is our second installment. And I'm so happy to welcome one of my new friends, Brandon Blackwood, to talk about fashion, his trajectory in the world, and all things inspiring. I just want to say that if you can't fit into this room, it's all love. I'm sorry, capacity, but I am trying to stream it live on YouTube. If you're out there and but it's called Something Creative, not Black and Creative, Something Creative, Khary, Khary, and that's the best way to kind of see it and hear it if you're back there or online. Okay, so again, thank you so much for coming. I appreciate
Thanks for
the time.
having me.
All right, thank you. So it's Fashion Week. You are a fashionable person. What made you started off in the sciences? How did you transition from the sciences to who you are today?
So I would say growing up, I was always really good at science. I ended up going to school, Bard College for neuroscience. If you ask my mom, who's actually here right now, which is very cute.
Hello,
Mom,
mom. Let's give clap for mom, everybody. Moms deserve claps.
But all through life, I was good at science, but I always loved fashion. I always wanted fashion magazines. I always just wanted to, read about it, learn about it, just be in it. So I would lie to mom actually every summer, and she's like, "It's true." I would lie to her every summer, and basically, instead of doing like a science internship, I was like at Nylon magazine or Elle magazine in the fashion closet working. She had no clue I was, but I just kept doing that, and I really realized like, hey, you know what? I need to really stick with fashion. Ooh, someone's angry. Anyway, so I was basically just drawn to it when I graduated. I just really put my foot down, was like, you know what? I'm just gonna go for it, pursue it, and I left the house immediately because everyone was upset. I started working at Crossroads Trading, and from there I met a lot of people, and that's when I made my first bag, and we're kind of here
And
now.
that was it. And the first bag is like, of course, everyone the legendary story of the first bag being seen and then being featured in Essence,
Yeah.
and then it just was off to the races.
Yeah, the first person in fashion I really showed my bag to, Candace. She's still a really good friend of mine. She was working at Essence at the time. 2 weeks later, I was in Essence, and from there it just kind of snowballed, and that's when I decided I needed to take it seriously.
But it's interesting when that happens. We oftentimes look for like the establishment, and oftentimes I think in this space because it's Black and creative, I can be really candid. I hope with you, and just let you know that I think that there's a space for appreciation of our own, and it doesn't have to necessarily be stamped by Vogue, Anna Wintour, or a certain establishment. It could be the person down the street. It could be the person that you go to your church. It could be the person that I like what I see you.
Yeah.
That's the moment.
And I think for me, my kind of lane in fashion, like me blowing up in fashion, happened very differently. A lot of people within the industry, like I definitely was an anomaly in the sense that, I didn't really do the traditional fashion fund or CFDA route. I never got a grant to this day. I applied for all these things, but I never, ever, ever was accepted for them. But as my brand, like kind of grew up, as my brand was like blowing up, I think what kind of put the stamp on my brand for me was just like my customer and the power of that. I think it was hard to ignore my brand after a while when I had thousands and thousands and thousands of people wearing it, championing it, posting about it. I think it got to a point where, the people in fashion just couldn't really turn the eye to it anymore and just had to kind of like look at it and respect it in some way.
Take me to the first time you were on the train or in the city and you saw someone who you don't know wearing one of your bags.
It's funny, I don't remember like the first time, but I do have a folder in my phone that I sneak like of people with their bags, like to this day when they're walking and stuff. But I do remember that when the brand was blowing up, I was inside so much just working on it that I feel like all this was happening outside. People were wearing the bags, talking about it, but I wasn't actually like seeing them. I remember just like I go to parties with my friends or like out with like my mom, my family, and like people would stop me, and that's when I really realized like, oh, this is like a real thing. Yeah.
And they're not, they don't know me, and I'm seeing my babies out in the world.
Exactly.
You know, interesting. It's like when you create something. I always say this: that creative people are like magicians. There's always marketers and branders and retail salesmen and stuff like that that can kind of have a commentary on it. But when you are the person that takes something, you take nothing and makes it into something, you're kind of the magician of that. You know, you've taken nothing, you've taken something that did not exist and you pulled it into the universe. It's fantastic.
I also do think though too that because I wasn't trained in fashion, I didn't know the appropriate avenues and the appropriate like steps to take. I think that actually really did help me because I was just going off a whim and like what I thought felt good and what I thought I should do. So I did think that like helped like kind of being a little ignorant.
What does bamboo mean to you?
Growing up, my aunt Camille has this like iconic photo that I would always look at. It was in my grandma's house, and she has these like giant bamboo earrings on this oversized. I think it was like a Tommy Hilfiger shirt, and she's like leaning on somebody's car that was definitely not hers. And I just always was in love with and just seeing the bamboo earrings everywhere, seeing it. I just felt like what it's like very cultural, obviously, but like bringing that into my creations, my designs, things like that. It just made sense. I think when just being black, you're constantly living in like the black experience. It's very easy to just like find ways to incorporate into your creativity. I feel like you can't really escape it. It goes hand in hand.
I love that because I think we all have this iconography. You know, we look at what defines blackness, what defines being from the West Indies, what defines being from Brooklyn, what defines, we all have these microcosms of our identity. We're not a monolith, we know that, but door knocker earrings was from my era, what they called them, a dolphin earring. And then to see them interpreted and remixed to frame a bag or to be a heel of a shoe, you are you're ingesting and pushing out iconography. And that's very smart. Is that the part of your scientific mind or your artist mind?
I think it's more artist mind. I feel like whenever people do ask me about like, does my science background kind of incorporate into the designs, I think it's more so like colors, color theory, things like that. I've really, really, really like used that kind of part of my neuroscience and my science degree to like really help out. For instance, very fun fact, the color red. If you think about like fast food chains, they all have the color red in it.
Yeah.
It's because it incites like hunger.
Did you ever work at fast food?
No.
Oh. Well, I worked at McDonald's
Really?
for years, and it was not fun.
It doesn't look that
It
fun.
wasn't. The drive-through was laughing and joking. But,
So like just knowing things like that, and like obviously red sells really well for us. So like how do we incorporate that into our campaigns, our marketing and things like that? That's where I think the science aspect of myself goes into the bags.
who are your cousins?
The cousins are like all my customers. I feel like again because I came into this so just unaware of everything. I felt really hyped when I would see people like buy my stuff. Like I would be in bed scrolling through my orders and like reading people's names and like where are these bags going and stuff. And it felt so weird to me to say the word customer. I don't know why. It just gives me the ick sometimes. Because I feel like someone buying into my brand is a little bit more than just that. So I wanted to find something that made more sense. And I felt like, especially if some of you guys like followed me from like earlier back, I would post my swatches. I would post like sketches and be like, do y'all even like this? Like, should I waste my time? What colors do you like? Things like that. So it kind of felt like a very big group project, like a family project. So I felt like cousins felt more fitting than just saying customer.
Very smart. I mean, of course. I mean, it's the emotional connection, with objects and humans and fashion and culture. And I think that's really that's who we are. That helps shape your vision.
Yeah.
And then when we think about like more so even your cousins your team. Oftentimes, as I understand, the titles. Can you talk about the titling of your pieces? How does that go?
So with my bags, they're named after either different townships in Jamaica or close friends. I think everybody on the team at this point has had a bag named after them as well. But I like to really just keep it very, very close So every time you see a new bag, that name means something to me. I think it means it gives something more to the product itself than just being a bag. And I don't know. I think everything is an emotional connection, so why not? It just felt very natural.
Are you an emotional person?
Half and half. I feel like I'm emotional over dumb things. Like very serious things, I can like dead face just handle it. It's like little things that I cry about. So I don't know if I'm super emotional, but sentimental, yes.
I'm mushy. Like I can watch a TV commercial. Those Folgers House commercials, I cry. Oh, absolutely.
Well, you're a
I'm
Cancer.
a Cancer. I'm like a Cancer through and through. And insane.
I'm a Libra. I'm just like, is everyone else good? Okay, great. Yeah, that's pretty much.
Political awareness and activism plays a role also with bags in fashion. Can you talk about that a little bit?
So for me, I think obviously a lot of people know of the ESR tote. That for me kind of just like really brought a lot of people to my brand, brought a lot of visibility to that brand. And I made that obviously in 2020. At that point, I probably had like maybe 10,000 or so followers. But I felt like that was enough to like try to make some movement in my own way. I didn't expect for it to be so big. And it kind of just like, it blew up from there. But it was a really, really interesting thing. I'm going to go on a little bit of a tangent. But
Sure.
it was a really interesting thing, and I actually said this recently in an interview, but the ESR tote for me was like a blessing and a curse because it brought a lot of people to the brand and it did spread a lot of awareness, but at the same time, I didn't think that something that I felt so passionate about and that was such a strong statement should have gotten so trendy. You know what I mean? So that was a battle that I had to like really deal with. And I didn't want, especially in fashion, people are like cool for 2 seconds and like disappear. I didn't want to become a one trick pony and be just seen as like, oh, he did the ESR toe. So I think while that bag blew up, that's when y'all saw every color of trunk and everything else. I was like, I don't want these people, especially people in fashion. And I'm not even gonna lie, like, especially like, you know, the Conde girls, the Hearst girls, like everybody. I didn't want everybody to just look at my brand and say, oh, that's all he can do.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think it's about the narrative that people look at you in. The in systemic racism to ESC ESR, sorry, ESR one is it's one of those things where we have our private conversations, and then there's always the risk of overarching culture devouring it and then forgetting about it.
Yeah.
And that could be from the dolphin to ESR to even conversations that we have, as we all know, from slang to nomenclature to everything, and then how's that being ingested and then really wrongly interpreted, because you're also very much on social media.
Yeah.
What's your favorite? What's your favorite top?
For me, my TikTok is all over the place. It's a lot of it's a lot of food, a lot of cleaning hacks. I don't even like cleaning. And then I have this really weird thing I've been really into. Have y'all seen like the TikToks with like the sand? Like people just play with sand and like that sound.
Yeah.
That should be making me fall asleep. I love that.
The ones that make like different objects with different materials, like a fake eating like glass strawberries or sand strawberries.
No, they're like smushing sand. They're like, it's really wild. Sorry, I'm really into it. I'm like, are they fighting or having fun?
I think they're having fun.
As long as they're having fun.
That's the after party, everyone. In case you want to know, we'll be over there later. That's the after party.
No, literally. My mom was like, it's probably a domino game.
I have $5 on the loudest one.
No, literally.
All right. Yeah.
I'm like, Mom, can you go over and talk to her?
So you, yeah. So we talk about like, okay, where's the line between being a New Yorker, being Jamaican, where are the lines of your identity? Are they all mixed up? Like, like how much do you feel like a New Yorker? How much do you feel like a Jamaican?
So for me, it's really interesting. I think growing up, I grew up mostly, obviously, with my mom's side. So all Jamaicans all day. Like, it's obviously a very big part of my identity, my culture. That's just what raised me. That's why I know that's where my family comes from, the people that mean the most to me. I think a New Yorker, for me, comes second, but I think there is no like real New Yorker in a sense because everybody in New York, is somebody's from somewhere. So I think because of that, it blends really effortlessly. I don't feel like there's like a divide or like I have to think about either one. But like if I had to choose, I don't know.
Were you excited about Juicy Patty opening?
Very, very, literally.
It's very inside New York.
Yeah.
If you don't know, you don't know.
Oh,
You don't know.
it was wild. My whole family was like, "Did you hear? Did you hear?" I'm like, "Yes, yes."
We ordered some frozen to come here.
Period. See,
Exactly. We ordered frozen before they moved here. We ordered some from Jamaica. Believe me, Ray can tell you.
I love that.
All right. So now you're celebrating 10. First of all, let's have a clap. It's 10 years. 10 years. I just want to say we're just getting to know each other. 10 years doing anything. There are hard times, good times, sickness, COVID, everything. Congratulations, brother. You really did
Thank you
fantastic.
so much.
All right. More to that. So what do you think? What surprised you the most about the last 10 years?
I mean, just being where I'm at now, I think is the most surprising thing. I always joke and say that, like, when I was starting my brand, I had an idea of what I wanted or like where I wanted the brand to go. And just even current day life, I've surpassed that. I didn't even know the other like kind of heights I could have reached. And there's so much more I want to do. So I think the last 10 years have really showed me that one, being delusional is actually a very good thing. It's taught me a lot about business. It's taught me a lot about money. It's taught me a lot about just like how to navigate all these different types of rooms. But I think my biggest takeaway in the 10 years is that like, it sounds really corny, but just like you can really think it and actually do it.
In the later version era of you, you're going into other product categories, home, apparel, shoes, stuff like that. Where do you keep the integrity of the brand and then translating that to other mediums?
So I think what I'm very fortunate about is I own my company like 100%. I don't have any investors or anything like that. So thank you. So because of that, I don't have like a pressure to keep expanding or like hit this number every month, every month, every month. If you ask my team, there's times where I've been like, I don't feel like working. I've worked a lot. I'm taking this month off. The sales are gonna be whatever the sales are. We'll pick it back up. Like I get to really go in and out because I have full control. And I know that like if it was, any other different situation, I wouldn't necessarily have that. So when it comes to the integrity of the stuff, I only make stuff I like. I only make stuff I like and I only do stuff I want to do. And I don't have a board or anybody else that's telling me what to do. So if you see something with my name on it, that means I really liked it and I really wanted to do it. So I never really had an issue yet with, keeping the integrity of things. And I also like to do things naturally. Like I love home stuff. If you follow like my personal Instagram, it is just me. I'm working on a house right now, building it out. My mom's actually my contractor. Um, yes. Um, I love doing that. My office, I design myself. Everything basically design wise when it comes to like the spaces that my bags are in, I've created myself. So we've been featured and stuff like that. So I knew that I was gonna venture into that lane. I'm doing baby steps right now, but again, it's just gonna happen naturally. With the shoes, the outerwear, the studio, I see some of the girlies in it. That was all ideas I wanted to do. It's just like when do we do it? So yeah.
When you think about, furniture and home, it's such a it I look at your work as an outsider. I'm not a fashion guy. I'm like a creative director that has a big mouth.
You're
right?
not a fashion guy.
I'm like
Okay.
I'm like a guy with an opinion. And it's always about. I think everything you do is about relationships. You have relationships between the designer and the piece and the person and handing it off to a community, the body and the object, the body in a chair. You really pay attention to how does this feel?
Yeah.
What is this thing you can't touch that's between me and that? That's really cool.
It's really interesting. I feel like Growing up, I had a very this can sound really weird, guys. But growing up, I had a very weird thing that I had to curb and really stop. I was such a people pleaser. I just always wanted people to like me, right? And I feel like sometimes it sounds weird, but I think that's why the brand did so well because I was always just searching for this I wanted people to be like, yes, we love it, we love it. I just wanted to see people always happy, happy, happy. I think in my personal life, I've learned to chill the frick out with that. But I think my release is really through my work. I really want my customers to be happy. Anything I make, I need a compliment. I need people to feel it. I need people to feel very happy. And I'm not really ashamed to say it. It's just the way it is. I want you to see a Brandon Blackwood bag and just be like, wow. I want you to see a piece of furniture I'm making and feel wow and say this is the most comfortable thing ever. And I think that's why the products feel and look the way they do because I'm always thinking about, I guess, the end consumer. I never really make myself that person, if that makes sense.
It's funny. I see it as very curated. I don't see it as some brands. I can tell, oh, they're trying to hit the market, they're trying to hit this market, that market,
Yeah.
this market. You're curated. It's very. I can tell. I can see the through line.
Thank you.
That's very nice. So when also okay, travel,
Yeah.
amenity kits. I love them. I keep them. I have a bunch of them.
Yeah.
What does that mean to you?
So that was a huge thing.
Oh, just doing that. I'm sorry. American Airlines,
Yeah,
right?
American
American
Airlines.
Airlines amenity kits are by Brandon as well. All right, from the bag.
I'm the first Black designer. I'm just throwing that out there to do it. So
First Black designer to do it. All right. There you go.
that was something I always used to tell my team I wanted to do something with an airline. I just think with air travel, it's a very fab and luxurious space. And I wanted to be a part of it in some capacity. And literally a couple months later, we got the email. We had the interest. That amenity kit took 2 years of going back and forth. And people don't realize how long the bigger the corporation, the more people things have to go through. They need this. I don't want to do this. We got to change this. We have meet in the middle. I've never been to Texas so much in my life. That is where they're based. And it was Dallas, Fort Worth. If anyone's from there, I'm sorry, but I was damn. But literally, I think what came out of it was something really, really, really beautiful. And that's something I'm very, very proud of. The amenity kits, for me, obviously, yes, on the service level, it's a very cute bag, a very cute pouch. It is what it is. But just having them all feature mostly Black owned products. It's important. Just making sure my customers can pull out the pamphlet with all my other stuff in there. I wanted to really use it as a marketing tool to reach as many people as possible. I think that's what we did with it.
What is luxury to you?
My idea of luxury is not, I guess, traditional. I think when people automatically think of luxury, they're the most expensive thing, the most exclusive thing. I think the ultimate luxury in life is just having options and having a choice. And I really, really if you think about it, everyone thinks we're operating in free will and we're really not. It's when you can really walk around and every single thing is an option for you, that's luxury. Yeah. Y'all like that, right? It's cute.
I know exactly what you mean. It's I think that this idea that we're sold, and again, this right now is a Black and POC and queer and femme space right now. We're talking in. And I think that we're sold such ideas. It's just bullshit,
Yeah, and
you know?
to tie the whole idea of luxury, that's a really, really powerful word, to just items is very stupid and very silly. And I just don't really believe in that.
So looking ahead to the future, and 10 years in, 100 more to go.
50.
What are you excited by?
I think right now, just seeing where else this journey is going to take me, I did not think I'd get to this spot right now. So just seeing where I'll go, I want to do so many more things. I still don't have a store. I want a store. I want to do all sorts of different things, and I know they're coming in the future. So I think for me, there's a lot to look forward to for the 10 years. But right now, it's just going along with the ride. I've learned to, in these past 10 years to not really get so hung up with definite goals. Just do the best you can, and you will literally hit every single one.
And I want to give people a few minutes to ask you some
Yeah,
stuff,
sure.
few minutes. Take it,
Yeah.
and I'll talk to people around. I'll pass the mic and see if there's any questions we have from the audience about Brandon, this role. I see a hand, I see a hand, and I see a hand, and I see a hand. So I'm going to just kind of go right here first. Please, thank you.
Thank you. It's so good to be here. What struck me is you're 100% oh no, there are tons of McLean. I'm asking why I already know why, but just because like about to everybody that's to currently school design a studio or like you have you take control and choose whatever you want to be basically like it does something with you. How do you take everything on that?
I think for me, I didn't know any better. I didn't know investors existed. If I knew there were people out there that was gonna like hand me a shit ton of money right away, I think I would have attempted it. But I think once I got that knowledge, I was too far in. We were doing well. And I didn't at that point. I was like too greedy. I didn't want to share it with anyone. Um, I don't ever say that I wouldn't do it in the future just because I think a good partner can expand your brand a lot. But I think, especially a lot of people, a lot of creatives, when you're starting, I think it's not really smart to go the investor route right away. I think you do need to like kind of learn and grow and kind of like hit rock bottom. It sucks, but yeah, like the couple of times I was really broke trying to make this thing work, I learned so much. I think you have to go through those things. And then once you go through all that, then get your success, it makes it 10 times harder to give it to someone, you know? Yeah.
I, Great. I see some other questions over here. Can I pass it back? Sorry. Thank you. Thank you.
Let's hear it. Official.
So, hey, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Okay, everything.
We'll be out there. My question is, I guess throughout creating your business, what were some of the hardest things that you faced, and some of those whether that you have passed them and like were able to like basically bear out of them or not? So, but what were like those really hard times? Still, I'm an entrepreneur, so I guess. But
It gets rough, yeah.
just keep me going.
Yeah, definitely. Um, I think our hardest thing, I'll say two. One is very like logistical, and one's a little bit more just like, but I would say the hardest thing from the jump was just building the audience, getting people. I think no matter how good your product is, you need it to be in front of people. You need people to see it, buy it, and spread their own word. That for me was really hard. Growing to 1,000 followers was rough.
Yeah.
Growing to 10,000 was rough. And I always tell people too, once you reach 100, it does its work. It does it works itself. But those are really, really big, were like monumental moments for me. And those were like the hardest. I would say for me, what I did to like kind of like navigate that was everyone says to network up, but you also need to remember to network out. I guarantee you probably know a photographer, a stylist, like people, y'all all coming up together. Those were the people I was working with. I've cooked curry chicken dinners for friends in return for a shoot. Like, you know what I mean? I would do, mom's like, yeah, like, man, I was feeding people whatever you needed. Just give me like 3 hours and a shoot, whatever. So it's like working with my peers really, really helped my business and really helped it grow because not only are we kind of like sharing this creative, thing we're building, but also too, they have their following that may not know you. You have their following that doesn't know them. You're building a very organic following from the jump, which can only like multiply. So I really would say that for me was the hardest. And God, I'm gonna go on so many tangents. A very close friend of mine, he's a photographer. He used to shoot my stuff for free. He was what I was always feeding, always come over the house. He actually just shot Dochi's cover, but so we kind of like came up together and I was like so proud of him. And like we had a little crying moment because it's like we were always helping each other out. And now look at us. So again, network out. If I'm going to be like super, super, super logistic, I would say for me, it was warehousing. Once you start selling a lot of product and a lot of product in volume, it's a whole different ball game. That for me was the hardest part. It's our most expensive bill, and it was like kind of the most serious thing we had to grapple with and really like get tight. So yeah.
If you know what, I want to talk about for a second. I'm
Yeah.
sorry, I don't want to derail, but we see the fad, we see the fashion, we see the red carpet, we see a lot of
Yeah.
pictures fashion, logistics, buttonholes, zippers, those things. By the way, are all profitable job titles that people sourcing for us as Black and brown people getting into the industry. It legal is a whole thing. I know people who are making who have a third house just doing legal for sourcing. And so I just want to just really impart in this conversation that it's not just about look at me, look how fab I am, isn't this an amazing blah blah blah. Look at I don't know, the establishment appreciating it, people you've never heard of are doing really cool stuff. And I'm sorry, and that helps push a lot of businesses out there. So sorry. Next question. All the way back. Sorry about that. Gonna pass it through. Thank you.
Speaking this.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Hey, I'm
gonna
good.
project because they ain't gonna cut me off.
I was gonna say I love how you
I'm gonna project. Okay. All right. So my name is Elise. I'm also an entrepreneur in small business all own a full-service product development and manufacturing company right here in Brooklyn.
Okay.
For emerging
Period.
designers.
Yes.
So glad you just said that, Khary, because I was gonna need that today. So you need 10 years in, and I'm pretty sure you have a bunch of risk mitigation when it comes to logistics and production management. So my question is, how are you managing inventory levels when it comes to your manufacturing, as well as all of the tariff that's coming in? So your pricing, I'm assuming, has changed so much in your cost over the years because, like you said, you're in a larger value now.
Yeah.
So how are you mitigating and going through those solutions as for children? Like, I feel like for me, it's like growing pains. How are you navigating that space?
Definitely. So, okay, I did not think I was gonna get a question like this tonight, but I'm very, very, very happy I did. I'm gonna say, how do I attack this first? Because there's so many things I can talk about at once. I would say, just from the jump, tariffs have been, I guess, like the horror film of this year. It's been really, really, really scary. For me, it hasn't been as bad just because our pricing is not that steep. And because of that, we're not carrying a larger tax. And I think because we're selling to our customers at a very, very fair rate, it's kind of softened the blow. I'm not going to lie, though, our bags have gone up. Like some stuff, like the smaller goods, maybe $25 up to like $50, $80. It really depends on the item or like what the cost is. And it sucks. But I think even with that jump, we've still been able to still be the cute, affordable brand. So I think really adjusting your pricing, it's not going to be the most glam thing. You're not going to be making as much money as before, but like I think a customer is going to react more to a fair price. A fair price means more orders means more cash, and more cash means you're going to give some back to the tariff people. So I think it's just like a circular thing that we have to deal with right now. In terms of just like inventory management, I'm doing obviously like really, really large volume, so I do get really good discounts, and we have larger like connections with importers, things like that. I would say for a smaller business, I think, and I wish I had incorporated them earlier in. If you are you manufacturing stuff out of
Everything in house.
in house? Okay. Oh, so you good then? Yeah. Okay. But
I have a lot of clients that want to go,
okay.
man, they're having a hard time.
I would. Yeah.
For me, I'm a soft.
Yeah. So when they're graduating, they don't know how to. Okay.
Yeah.
I would say you have to look at what the big boys are using. When it comes to shipping, you want your stuff by sea on cargo. So hit a Flexport. They're really good rates.
And split your cargo.
Yeah.
Don't do a whole container yourself.
Exactly.
You split your cargo with someone else, which means a lot less time on the water.
Split your cargo. Do things like that. Only ship by sea. I don't care what it is. It's going on the boat. There's companies like Flexport, a bunch of similar companies. If you're smaller, and I wish I had done this earlier, working with them because they'll take you on as a client. your bills are going to be way smaller, but it's such a personal thing. As you grow, they'll watch you. They're going to keep you around as their client. So they will help you out. This container's come, we have this much space. Girl, you want to throw some stuff on, like things like that. So it's like looking at like what the bigger companies are using and see who's willing to work with the smaller brands. They're going to help you out. They're getting their cash away from the big guys too. That's what I would say when it comes to shipping. Yeah, for sure.
Real advice for real people. Thank you. We have time for like one or two more. We got to wrap up. So appreciate it, Will Graves. Thanks. Thanks. Well,
Hello, my name is Destiny, and I'm definitely a janitor. And so my question for
something about
So my question to you is, what does legacy mean to you? I guess from a personal and professional lens. I'm an jewelry designer and executive up with their C-suite executive. So when I think about your legacy and just seeing how you are, it looks like you're part owning a factory now.
Yeah.
Just wanted to know what legacy means to you as she continues to make her imprint here on earth.
I think for me, and I've been asked this question before, and it always kind of stumps me, just because like I don't necessarily have that thought out, and I also think your legacy isn't even necessarily up to you. It's like what other people say and think about you. So in that sense, just like doing the right thing, blah blah blah, being a great person, making good product. I can say all that, but I think when it's all said and done, for me, I want. It's a little emotional, but like when it's all said and done, I just want people to be like, damn, he tried it. He tried everything. And maybe some of the stuff worked. I just want, I want people to be proud of me, but I also want, it sounds so corny, but I really do want people to be inspired to do their own thing too. I think, one day people might not know what a Brandon Blackwood bag is, but the people who've been in this room or people who I've encountered, just like, encounter my products, like if they get something from that, take away something from that, and just like, I don't know, I just want people to be like, damn, he was pretty cool and did this thing, and maybe I was a little inspired. So yeah.
thank you. Last question, please.
Hi.
Okay.
My name is
Hey, oh my God, you have like such a pretty voice.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So I've been a consumer since ESR, right? I fell in love with the creativity, with
Yeah.
inspiration, right? I love all the I have the bamboo bag, I have the taxi cab wheels.
Okay.
I do. But then I'm noticing your partnerships and your marketing, and it's more aspiration. I'm seeing on red carpets and things like that. And I'm like, wow, there's magic here. There's how many brands that can do what you're both creating the inspiration of for us as a consumer, but like aspiration of the seeing it on consumer. What do you think contributes to that magic of you being able to do both?
So for us, and we've actually had like marketing people from other places like hit us up like, how do you make this synergy work? For us, it's been naturally organic in the sense that, again, I give it all to my customers. I think so many people were buying the bags, wearing the bags, and like they were all, dressed great themselves and seeing it. It was very easy for then a stylist who's styling someone really big to be like, hey, the cool girls are wearing this. It looks good. You need to like jump on this. So I think with us, we've been really lucky. We're like, we don't, pay celebrities. If you see someone wearing our bag, that was organic. And I think that's such a blessing. And I think that's only because we have customers that are real people, but really cool, really fly, and like just from all sorts of walks of life. I think now with the celebs, I would say they like the bags. I think I offer a lot of colorways and a lot of different things too, which helps. But I also think they realize that like wearing my bag means a little bit more than just wearing like a blue bag or a pink bag. It's like, oh, that celeb is in the know. They know what the girls know. And I think it does carry so much weight when it comes to selling the brand. So I've been like DM'd by like crazy people for a bag that was like $200. I'm like, hell yeah. Like, I love it. So it's really, really, really great. And I think that's really helped us a lot as well. I think too, a lot of stylists now are a little tired of using a lot of very big brands all the time. And I think now it's like cooler when a celeb pops up and nobody never heard of that brand before. So I think all of like the newer brands are getting a lot more attention. which based with the customer and everything else, it's just like a recipe for success. So I think that's what's happened.
Thank you for the question. Yeah. And we had a touch point on legacy, and I just want to say before we end, you are inspiring. You are for creators, for artists, in furniture, in fashion, in shoes, and every future category you go into, including just being a good person.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you for this time.
Thank you guys.
All right. So again, we will be hanging out for a little bit. We'll have some music, and I wanted to thank
And, I'm
everyone
about
for
to get a
your
drink.
wonderful questions. We'll have a shot and everything. Right. Thank you so much,
Okay,
everyone.
thank y'all for coming out.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Upgrading the signal.
Sure.
I want to press the wrong thing.
I'll
leave
just
it.
move it. I'll put my phone on like this. Yeah. Don't worry. That was good.